Today, we're going to do some work to develop the unit circle, which is going to be super, super useful to us over the next month or so. I am hoping that these two special right triangles are familiar to you. I'm hoping that you saw them in geometry. I copied these triangles not well. I especially think my 30-60 triangle is off scale from the formula page of the SAT. Okay, so special right triangles, anytime you have a 30, 60, 90 triangle, the sides have this proportion. Okay, so for example, if you had a 30, 60, 90 triangle, and you knew that one side was 5, okay, so that means 5 is x. Then the other side would be 5 square roots of 3, and the other side would be 2 times 5, or 10. Okay, so the triangles always have that same ratio. So we are going to use that fact to try to get it so that the hypotenuse of our triangle is going to be 1. Okay, and so the way that I'm going to do that for my 30, 60, 90 triangle is I want 2x to be equal to 1. Okay, so hopefully you can see pretty quickly that x would be 1/2. So that means this side is equal to x, which is 1/2. And this side is going to be equal to 1/2 times square root of 3, which we usually write as square root of 3 over 2. Okay, similarly, this one's a little trickier. And I'm also going to draw my 45-degree triangle this way. So I want x square root of 2 to be equal to 1. I want my radius to be equal to 1, or my hypotenuse to be equal to 1. So I can divide both sides by the square root of 2, so I get x equals 1 over the square root of 2. Quick reminder of how to rationalize a denominator. Remember, we want to multiply by 1, okay, with whatever square root is in the denominator. So this becomes 1 times square root of 2 is square root of 2. Square root of 2 times square root of 2 becomes 2. Okay, so this side is going to be square root of 2 over 2. That's what my x is going to be equal to square root of 2 over 2. So that means, I'm going to erase this. I'm sorry, I'm off my game today. So this means that this side, x is square root of 2 over 2. This side is square root of 2 over 2. And square root of 2 over 2 times square root of 2 is equal to 1. Okay, so when I have my 45-degree triangle, I have 1 square root of 2 over 2 and square root of 2 over 2. So in my next figure, I drew a unit circle. Okay, hopefully you are remembering a unit circle has an equation x squared plus y squared equals 1. Okay, so that means it's a circle with center 0, 0, and it has a radius of 1. So that means this point is 1, 0, and this point is 0, 1. This point is negative 1, 0, and this point is 0, negative 1. Okay, so we have 4 points onto our circle, but we want to find some other points on our circle. Now, think about this. If this is a 30, 90, 60-degree triangle, I'm not going to draw in the 60, okay? Then looking up above, if this side is 1, right, which would be the radius of our circle, which we know this is 1, then this side is square root of 3 over 2, and this side is 1/2. Okay, but think about it. This is the distance from 0, so this corresponds to the point square root of 3 over 2, comma, 1/2. Okay, and hopefully you've been working on your radian measure, but 30 degrees is also equivalent to pi over 6. Okay, so I'm going to erase out my triangle. Okay, so for angle measure 30 degrees and pi over 6, that's going to correspond to the point square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. So let's draw in my 45 triangle. Okay, so again, using the triangle that we found above, my hypotenuse is 1, which makes sense because the radius of my circle is 1. This side is from here to here is square root of 2 over 2, and also our y distance is square root of 2 over 2. So that's going to correspond to the point square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2. Okay, and that corresponded to 45 degrees. Okay, I'm measuring from my x-axis. Okay, and hopefully you remember that 45 degrees is pi over 4 radians. You want to start memorizing these special degree measures, okay? 30, 45, 60, and 90, and their radian measures. Okay, and then if we fit the last one in, you might think, wait a second, we only had 2 triangles up above. But if we do I think my drawing's a little off. But if this is now 60 degrees, right, which is also pi over 3, and then this is 30 degrees, then the side here, the shortest side, is 1/2, and the height is going to be square root of 3 over 2. Okay, so we just found the points that correspond to all of our special angles in the first quadrant. Okay, these are worth memorizing. There are lots of videos online on how to memorize. Okay, but I try to think of it like this. There are only actually 3 numbers here. 1/2 inside the quadrant. 1/2 square root of 2 over 2, square root of 3 over 2. I try to remember the smallest one of those numbers is 1/2. So the shortest, right? So I put that as my shortest x value. Square root of 2 over 2 is a little bigger, so that goes as my second x value. Square root of 3 over 2 is my third x value. Okay, and then I think the same way, it's those same 3 numbers here. But this time my shortest height will be 1/2, that's my shortest length. Square root of 2 over 2 is a little bigger, and square root of 3 over 2 is a little bigger. There are some other tricks. I know there's a song some students used. Okay, everyone has a different way to memorize. You know that I am not huge on memorizing, but the unit circle, especially this first quadrant that I just showed you, is something that's really important to memorize. I also want to make sure that you notice that for all of these points, and I'd like you to try it with all 3 of them, this x squared plus y squared equals 1 holds. Okay, and if you think of it, it should, because it's the Pythagorean theorem, right? We drew in these right triangles inside of the circle. And so if we take the x value and square it, plus the y value and square it, we get 1. So let's check this here. Square root of 3 over 2 squared plus 1/2 squared. We want to see if that's equal to 1 squared. So this is 3/4. This is 1/4. Is that equal to 1? Yes, it is. I'd like you to take your blank unit circle and start to fill it out with the values that we just found in the first quadrant. So after I show you this next quick thing, I'd like you to pause the video and fill out your values for the first quadrant. Not really the first quadrant, but what they want you to notice is that this is equal to 0 and 0 degrees. Okay, the reason that this one has a double line is because it's also equal to 2 pi and 360 degrees. And that corresponds to the point 0, 1. Okay, taking my first quadrant, okay, that we just did. Okay, so we are going to see at 30 degrees, which we also said was pi over 6, we had the point square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. Okay, and we're just going to complete right until we get to the y-axis. So pause the video now, complete your first quadrant, and then turn the video back on when you're ready. Okay, so hopefully you found the same values as I did. We're going to talk about how we can use these values and reflections across the x-axis and across the y-axis to find all of our other points. So if we look at the point right here, okay, I remember that that is equal to 120 degrees or 2 pi over 3. Okay, but I can also see that my y height is exactly the same as 60 degrees and pi over 3. So my y height is staying the same. It's square root of 3 over 2. And if I look, my x distance, right, my distance right here, it's a reflection. So it's the same distance here, except for instead of in the positive direction, it's in the negative direction. Okay, similarly, I have 135 degrees, right? I went another pi over 4, so this is 3 pi over 4. Again, this is a reflection of this point over the y-axis. So the y value is staying exactly the same, but the x value is turning negative. Okay, our next one, this is 150 degrees, or 5 pi over 6. And again, my y value is staying exactly the same on the point of its reflection, but my x value is the negative. Okay, and see how we still have, let me move it over a little if it's a little better. See how we still have all of those, the reflection's really bad, I apologize. We still have all those same numbers, okay, except for with negatives. I hope you could follow my speech, and you can definitely find these online someplace. Okay, so this was 180 degrees or pi radians, and it corresponds to the point -1, 0. Okay, I would like you to work with reflections to fill out the rest of your unit circle. Okay, so pause the video now, take a couple minutes, and come back and check. Okay, so hopefully I don't have any mistakes on mine. If I do, please let me know. The important thing to notice here is that all of your coordinates in the third quadrant are negative, okay? Same, if you think about it, you guys learned this way back probably in 7th or 8th grade, right? In the third quadrant, all of your coordinates are negative. Okay, and in the fourth quadrant, your x is positive, your y is negative. Okay, and real quick, take a couple of these points and make sure that they still fit that circle, x squared plus y squared equals 1. Okay, spend some time memorizing this part of the unit circle. Okay, it's going to come in really useful over the next couple weeks.